everybody. Welcome in. It's another episode of Landmark Live, a production of the Platte County Landmark newspaper, and we are excited about a special topic tonight with our old friend Greg Hall, longtime sports media critic in Kansas City. Welcome in. Hey, this is my co-partner.
Yeah, I'm not Greg Hall. Yeah.
No, this is Brad Carl. If you haven't seen Brad in a while, he's been off the show. We had our old friend Chris Kamler filling in for a show or two. Shout out to Fake Ned, Chris Kamler, who couldn't be here tonight. His son suffered a broken jaw in a baseball game over the weekend, so Chris is dealing with that tonight and some other drama. Fake Ned has also got to go in for a knee replacement. Did you know that?
I thought that was all a joke.
No.
That's real?
That's the real deal.
I can't imagine why he needs new knees.
It's too much running. Man's an athlete. Man is an athlete.
Definitely. Umpire. He's an umpire.
Yeah. Well, that's how he hurt his knees.
Yeah, and he's a PA announcer.
He does it all.
He's got a big mouth.
He does it all. Cameron does it all. Shout out to Chris. But anyway, tonight we've got to move on to the important topic in sports media, the controversy surrounding Kevin Kietzman and Sports Radio 810 over some controversial comments that Kietzman made about Andy Reid and family. So we'll get into that with our friend Greg Hall. And why don't we just go ahead and move on into Greg, because Greg's got a lot to say on this topic as a former employee of Kietzman and 810. So Greg, come on in, my friend. Good to see you.
The studio audience is going to clap.
Good to see you, Brad.
Good to see you, Greg.
Good to see you guys, gentlemen.
The studio audience is just going wild. Tone down the crowd noise.
Tell those guys to relax out there.
Greg.
Both of them.
Greg, this is right up your alley. I kind of wish you were still doing an off the couch column. At this,
I thought the same thing. Maybe this might bring you back out.
Yes.
But.
You know, the Off the Couch was a great time. I really enjoyed doing it, and I even went back, kind of looked at some old columns, just kind of refreshed me, today. So I'd be ready to talk here. Not sure that that's going to be true or not, but it was such an exciting era in Kansas City, and Kietzman's a huge part of that. I mean, my gosh, 22 years at that station. And the station didn't even really exist. Talk radio didn't even really exist. Don Fortune had he did 3-4 hours on 980 for the afternoon. But that was a news talk station, weather. Pete Enoch and Saran had 1510 over there, and they did some morning sports talk, and then they did some national stuff. But that was a day-night station that went off the air. So Kevin and Brad, Kevin and Boger, get Jerry Green to pitch in, and by 8:10 they got 50,000 watts, and that really started an all-day, all-sports local radio station here that forced Entercom to do the same, and it became a big deal. And it really was an exciting era. And so when I had my column, it was fun, it was exciting. There was stuff happening all the time. Other people hated it, media hated it. Which made it even more fun.
Yeah.
And Kietzman was a constant source, as was Whitlock and even Poznansky. I mean, there was just a lot of talent happening in Kansas City, and again, it was a fun column to do. And I quit doing it about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somewhere there, it just kind of got blah, And maybe not to everyone, but to me, I lost interest. I didn't listen to as much AM radio. Wasn't that much going on. I kind of think that the talent got staid and complacent, and maybe that's why Kevin decided, hey man, I'm going to ratchet this sucker up. Let's get that OTC.
He definitely ratcheted it up. I mean, he went from being outspoken and he's always been bold and had bold opinions, but it seems like he crossed the line into being a dick. He went full Kietzman on us toward the end.
Yeah, I think Kevin's Kevin, and that's he's a different cat.
Yeah.
He's a different guy, and I don't know Kevin well. I'm not going to pretend like I do. I work with him, work for him for a very short time. Very short time.
We can talk about that a little bit.
But he was an odd guy, and a guy that I don't know if I really got to know him, and I'm not sure how many people really do know Kevin. I think he's an unhappy guy. I'll be honest with you. He's not a guy that just kind of kicks back and goes, hey, I don't give a shit today. He cares about everything. He worries about everything.
Right.
And I think one of his issues with people like, you look at him like, he would always pluck at some of the sports heroes here in Kansas City. George Brett. I don't think he had a great relationship with George, and he always kind of pick at him. Alex Gordon. Here's another guy, local hero. He's always just... And not real aggressive, but just kind of passively and over. And if you would call him on it, he was you talking about?
Yeah.
I love Alice Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, George Burt's a great.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
A lot of it was an insinuation and not so much a direct,
Yeah, and
In denial.
Right. Insinuate and deny.
Right.
I really think his problem with Andy Reid stemmed from maybe an early press conference when Andy came to town, and I think Andy blew him off, and just kind of like. And one thing Kevin doesn't like is to be discarded, or embarrassed. And it was at a presser in front of other people, and made to the point where others laughed or Andy laughed at him. Kevin never forgot that. Kevin doesn't forget things like that. And if you listen to him over the years, he'd always have a dig at Andy. He's always looking for, same thing with Mahomes. My gosh, we draft Mahomes. Mahomes a loser. Never won in his life. This guy's no good. Come on, give me a break. He's going to pluck. I think he just kind of got lost here with this Andy thing, where he was, he's extemporaneous on his monologue, which he did every day.
Right.
And hey, that's tough. Mm-hmm. Dude did 25 minutes every day, pretty much off the top of his head. I'm sure he had a few an outline to work from there.
Right.
But he's putting his ass out there on the radio 25 minutes a day or 20 minutes, whatever his monologue is, plus another 3 hours where he's in live radio. You're going to F up, right? And now he went where no man should go.
Exactly.
No man should go. So I'm not going to excuse that, but I'm saying anybody out there who thinks, hey, how could that happen? Do live radio every day for 22 years and come back clean.
Or do a live podcast on Facebook.
True.
And we effed up once or twice.
We've done that before. I've been scolded afterwards.
We're still on the air.
Yeah.
I mean, you wore a shirt one time that wouldn't allow us to boost our.
I was going to say to make sure Greg didn't wear a Scott Frost jersey because we'd be in trouble if you had something with
we
a logo on it.
We get more
or
trouble
anything
for
like
our
that.
wardrobe than really anything we
The
say.
Huskers, baby. 4 straight, 2 years, 4 straight wins. We're going to win 5 or 6 this year, baby.
Yeah, sure we are.
So right, you're a Husker fan, right?
Yeah, I am, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I said that. Yeah.
There's a couple of us in the room.
Exactly.
Well, let's give Kietzman credit, though. He really changed the face of sports talk radio in Kansas City, right? And I think that's what you were saying.
Absolutely, yeah, and you have to give him credit. And hey, I'm not saying my column came out of his show or anything, but my column came because I didn't think the media was being monitored or even policed or even treated anywhere near as harshly or as critically as they treat the athletes. Let's look at this incident alone, right? You've got Kietzman does this, basically impugns a parent of a dead son and does it twice within 13 seconds or so. Just unbelievable. Well, who's talking about this? No one. Almost no one discusses that. Okay, we're talking about it here, but it was kind of hinted at on his station. You know what? We're going to talk about this morning, and we are never talking about this again. Same thing on 610, I heard. The Star kind of like, hey, they posted the official discussion, whatever. But the media, again, gets off. Okay, I'm listening to Sherman Petro show this morning, and he's got, who's the Chiefs running back that's up in Cleveland now?
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. He says, there's rumors that Kareem Hunt was in a bar fight last night in Cleveland. And this goes on. He tweets it out. Well, by the end of the show, he's backing off going, hey, looks like that may have been a hoax, And, well, we're talking about Kareem Hunt here for 3 hours, and Kareem Hunt's getting drug around.
Might have been a hoax.
And Tyreek Hill is, they say Tyreek Hill's name 100 times a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Kevin Kietzman does this. No one's willing to even say his name.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where my column came from, is that, hey, let's hold these guys accountable, too. They're human. And, I think Kevin's error on this was so egregious that, he's gone. And
Well, and if you could sit in a group of guys, or if you're out with your wife and a few friends and stuff, and you had a few drinks, and if I were to say that, just with a group of friends, people would have been like, whoa. So I mean, the fact that it was said on the radio, like you said, you're gonna screw up sometimes. But that was
I am not at all excusing him.
Right,
Not at all.
right.
Yeah, I've heard, and I'm sure you guys have. Everybody probably in this room has personal experience with addiction and that difficulty in dealing with that with family members. And I know I heard from members of the media who said, that hurt me. I was personally hurt by his words, and then his non-apology, where Kevin comes out and says, "Hey man, I'm offended that you thought that you thought I would bring that up."
Yes.
And that just didn't work.
And I want to get into it. Let's get into Kietzman's apology tour.
Yeah.
But first, I got to remind you, you're watching Landmark Live, a production of the Platte County Landmark newspaper. And if you want more of this, I tell you, Hearn Christopher writes for us. He has a column coming out in this week's Landmark with some thoughts on the Kietzman deal. Platte County Landmark, call us 816-858-0363. We'll get you set up. Let's talk about the apology tour that Kietzman went on with the TV stations. I mean, what was your reaction to that? How, did that help or hurt his cause? Obviously, it didn't help.
That is what you call a rhetorical question. As soon as I saw that Kevin was going to make the circuit and go on to local television, I thought, oh my gosh, he's in trouble. Mm-hmm. He was banned from his radio station, right? They say, listen, you can't do your show. So he said, I can't do my show. I'm going to go on local broadcast and give my side of it. Now, these are competing television stations to his radio station. And that signaled to me that his partners and he were on the outs, big time. Mm-hmm. And, there was some back and forth on Twitter with me. And I said, that doesn't happen to someone who's going to go back to their job. That's in broadcasting. And Kevin was saying, even on those broadcasts, hey, I'll be back on Friday. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. I mean, this seems really serious. Now, I think if he would have taken this and apologized in a way, and I mean, throw yourself to mercy at the court, I screwed up, you know what? I don't know what came over me. What a ridiculous thing for me to say. Hey, and I would have said, you know what? I'm doing 20 minutes a monologue every day. I'm talking off the top of my head. I got outside myself here. I don't know what I was thinking. But my gosh, I am so sorry to be, to even have that cross my mind and then through my mouth and out over the airwaves. And no, he chastised us for thinking that.
Blamed it on the listeners.
Yeah. And then he said something about, it was Clark Hunt he was talking about, Clark Hunt, and how Clark Hunt's discipline of the team, and it's like, it just made no sense. And then there were tears and stuff, and it was just so ingenuous. It was just
Brad and I had an exchange about the fake tears.
I missed it. I'll be honest, I saw about 13 seconds of an apology that was not an apology, and I was like, I can't watch anymore, because I know in my mind, I felt I knew exactly how he acts. I've heard him enough. I know what he's like, at least on the radio, and I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to like anything. And so I have not watched enough of it. I mean, you're telling me more now than I've known. Before now, I saw enough to know he wasn't sorry. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, if he's here today and we're talking to him, he might be legitimately crying, because he just lost a heck of a gig, and again, I think he was using himself as a one-man crisis team here, which is just a horrible idea, and I think it failed badly. I really think that sealed his fate as far as he was not coming back Friday, and there was possibly conversation about him coming back Friday. I don't think he just plucked that out of the air.
He wouldn't have said that if there hadn't been some conversation.
But your apology just now that you gave, as if you were him, that's exactly what it should have been. That's exactly what I would have done, because at some point, look, when you were talking earlier about him and you said that people don't really know him, but what you know about him is, he doesn't like to be, embarrassed. He doesn't like to be, felt like he's not being heard. And that's an ego issue. Look, you don't have to listen to Kevin Kietzman for more than about a half an hour to know. And look, all these guys do, right? I mean, they all got egos, right?
We do too.
Sure, we all do. Sure. But point being that you have to turn that off and be a human being at some point. And it didn't sound to me like he turned that off when he went on TV. Very much.
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
And now when he went on TV and he said the Chiefs are not returning his call, Andy Reid's not returning his call. It's one thing Andy Reid's not returning his call, but for the Chiefs organization to not return Kietzman's call, to even give him a chance to apologize, when the Chiefs and that radio station have a contractual relationship, that was kind of a warning sign that, hey, things aren't real peachy between the Chiefs and the station right now.
Well, how could they be? Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of speculation that the Chiefs made this call, that the Chiefs fired Kevin Kietzman, which they may have. The Chiefs are a powerful unit. When I worked at the Kansas City Star, and the Chiefs weren't happy with something I wrote, they were not shy about letting us know, because they swing a big stick, and they swing a big stick now. They still do. And the fact that WHB is contractually connected with the Chiefs now. I'm sure they're unhappy. I really don't think that the Chiefs made this call. I don't think it was the Chiefs that said, you know what, fire him. He's gone. I believe his partnership group, Kevin's, and again, I don't know any more than the next guy. I really don't. This is just me kind of, putting the threads together here from what I know and what I've seen. I think his partnership group had it with him. I think they had issues with him in the past. I think they had warned him in the past. And this happened, and I'm going to guess at that meeting, that ownership meeting when he was there and they said, how are we going to handle this, that Kevin handled that really poorly. And what tells me that is that he went on the television stations then to say, oh, I'm off my show? Okay, how about this?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And again, I could be dead wrong there. The Chiefs could have called Chad Boger and said, Chad, that guy needs to be gone, or we are never talking to you guys again. Could have happened. I think it was one. I don't think the Chiefs give a damn about Kevin Kietzman. I think they're like, dude, we are not concerned about some guy on an AM terrestrial radio station. And yeah, was it stupid? It was really stupid. Well, we're not calling him back because we think he's an asshole or we think he's a jerk. We're not going after his job because we're way bigger than that. That's my take.
Good point.
But again, we get Kevin down here next week. He's free. I think he's probably got some time.
Call him up.
Yeah, get him down here, Kevin. You watching? Come on down.
I know he's
Call
watching.
Ivan Foley, at Ivan Foley.
On Twitter. He knows how to find us.
Yeah,
He does.
Greg, let's go back then. Now, he does the apology tour, and at one point, I think it was Channel 5, he says, I am not resigning.
I saw that.
Yeah, he says, I am not resigning. I am not resigning. So that told me there.
I think that was right after he cried.
Yeah.
Right after he cried, I was like, I'm not resigning, though. I am not resigning. Wait a
So in
minute.
other words, guys, you're going to have to buy me out to get rid of me. Now, how much of the station, and maybe you don't know this, but I'm curious, how big a partnership did he have in the state? Ownership state?
The ownership's pretty good size, I think.
Right.
They're the people we know. We know the Brian McRae's, we know Chad, we know Kevin, we know Todd Lebo, we know Jeff Montgomery. But there are also some other pieces in there. Jerry Green's group, whatever's left of that. I don't know. I don't know how. And I don't know what happened. Did they buy him out? Is he still a partner? Did they just fire him from his on-air job? Really interesting to know this, and I'd love for the Stars somebody to get in here. I mean, maybe no one cares about us nerds, so maybe that's why they're not doing it. But did they buy him out? And if they did buy him out, how are they buying him out? Did they give him a lump sum, or did they just continue to pay him a salary? If so, that AM station is not. They've got to be cast poor.
Well, they have been because, and I've heard one story, again, you just hear stuff on the street, that they were chopping a lot of the on-air personalities just to pay Kietzman more money in recent years.
Well,
any truth to that?
Maybe not Kietzman, but the kid's salary. Yeah,
Right.
It's tough. It's an AM radio station. They bought for $8 million. That's worth what now? I don't know, but it's not worth $8 million.
Right.
And it's devalued every year. There's still a buck to be made. It still can be profitable, but you've got to run it lean. And those on-air talent, that's really, they're expensive. And their contract with the Chiefs, their deal with KU Sports, that's got to be expensive. Those are high-ticket items there. So, yeah, Danny Cleanscale's gone. A lot of that ancillary talent has just disappeared. So, now, if they did buy Kevin out and they are still paying him or have to pay him, where's that other extra money come from now? Because now they're still paying Kevin or have paid him this lump sum. Did they get another talent? Do they just kind of steal from other shows and make that 2 to 6 slot work? People keep tweeting me saying, "Oh, Soren's got to go there, right? Oh, Steven St. John's has got to fill that spot now." Those guys have been doing their job for 15, 20 years in those time slots. They've got young kids.
Yeah.
It's a different deal. Now, St. John drives from the Northland to South Johnson County every day,
Right.
and he may say, "You know what, man, that 2 to 6 kick sounds pretty damn good. Maybe I will take that." I don't know. It's going to be interesting, I think, again, for the few people that still watch or listen to AM radio, and that's very few people under the age of 40. I work at I work at a tech company. A lot of our guys are under 40. They don't even know where AM is on their dial. I mean, they literally don't know. It's like, AM radio, that's a thing,
Yeah.
Even FM radio. I mean, they're listening to podcasts, they're listening to Sirius XM, those kind of things. So again, it's interesting. Is this the first really big block that falls that just topples AM radio and sports talk in Kansas City? Entercom is huge, right? they don't really care how those guys do at 6'10". I mean, that's the big thing that people don't realize. Oh, you know, they're not doing that well against Kietzman show, or geez, 8'10's beating them here and there. Entercom has all these pieces. They just want a little piece of that sports market, that 24-45 male demo and some of that, because they got all these other demo pieces coming in there, and they're big. 810 has sports talk in Kansas City. They got a little station in Louisville. They got a crappy FM station. They got 15. But that's the breadbasket. Those other stations are probably costing them money. And, you know, losing Kevin Kietzman is going to be a blow. Now, you don't like him, you not like him, you think he's a jerk, whatever. That dude was an innings eater, man. He showed up every day for 22 years and plugged in that 2 to 6, and advertisers paid for it. So now, if you get a new talent, are they going to pay for that talent? I mean, you know, and the way they're programming it since Kevin left, I think they're looking to punt, man. I mean,
that can't work.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I would not take the summer off, which apparently they are. I'm listening up there. The guy goes, whoever the kid was, he does nights. I guess he's done nights for 2.5 years. I have no idea who this guy is. So again, that's probably on me. But the guy says, I've never seen the movie Animal House.
Yeah.
If I'm Chad Boger, I go right in that studio, grab that guy by the collar, yank him out, and say, "Dude, audition is over." You ever seen Animal House?
That is painful. Well, he's like 12, right?
It's been a painful week and a half in radio.
Gee.
Wow. Wow.
I wouldn't even let the guy in my house.
Hey, to get back to the Kevin Kietzman ownership thing, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'll throw it out there. I heard something about a figure of 6%, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
and you know what? Kevin's made a lot of money over the years.
Yeah.
They've all made a lot of money.
Right.
The other thing about radio and having that ripped from him, there's incredible perks in radio. All those sponsors, all those people, you know, cars and food and
Trips.
Yeah. I mean, there are incredible, great perks that get plucked. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Kevin to.
It's going to be tough for him to not be able to use this thing every day.
Yeah, that you know what? When I gave him my column, it's like, I don't have that. I don't have that.
Right, exactly. So when you don't have that anymore,
Yeah.
which makes you think, which is why another talk that's going on Twitter is what's he going to do? Is he going to, is he going to go back on the air somewhere? Will it be in town? Will it be somewhere else? Will he do the Fesco thing and go to St. Louis?
I just think he's hurt his brand so badly and nationally that he's a pariah. I mean, let's be honest. He took on Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, and he took it on in a way that got him fired from a 22-year job where he was really, really, really successful at. So I don't even know how the guy goes out and get a beer and holds his head up. I am not even sure that goes away. Time usually heals stuff, it does. But he's going to be on the golf course a lot, maybe, playing with his buddies, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
he likes golf, so that's a good
We
thing.
know that.
Guys, you're watching the Landmark Live, a production of the Platte County Landmark newspaper. If you want this kind of entertainment and information and commentary every week, just call us, 816-858-0363. Our old buddy Greg Hall is here, longtime sports media critic. And, man, Greg, you've seen a lot in your 20-some. How many years have you been in Kansas City following the sports media?
Well, I've been in Kansas City since '88.
Okay.
I think Cindy was born '89.
Well,
Cindy's our camera woman here.
You started out by sending faxes, though, out to that's how long ago you started?
Yeah, you know what? '94. Our first son was born, and so I was doing some writing, some marketing stuff, and moved my office at home, and I'd lost that personal connection with people in the office and being able to talk. And so I this is Sport Talk Radio. I've always been a huge sports fan. So I started sending these faxes out that were very similar to the OTC column, and people started reading them on air, and that just shocked.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, people start to read them. So I got 50 fax numbers from every freaking media outlet I could find, plugged them in my fax machine, and just used to shoot it out like twice a week. And again, more and more people started reading them, and kind of grew from there. Again, I majored in biology in college. I wasn't a writer or anything, but I always enjoyed it and had a little bit of a talent for it.
Right.
I just didn't know you could really make money at that. And knowing Ivan, I realized you can.
Look at the shirt.
What? This is an Andy Reid garage
That's his
sale.
Andy Reid shirt. Yeah. That's great.
I lost a train of thought.
I'm sorry.
I had really sharp. No, but and then you wrote for the Star. right?
Yeah. I wrote for a lot of. I wrote for the Johnson. I started Johnson County Sun. They called me. The Star called me.
Right.
The Pitch. I did a little TV. And then I kind of the radio thing was really a mistake. The 980 at that time had the Royals, and they called me and said, "Hey, we want you to do the Royals post-game show." And so I was thinking about doing it. Well, then 1510 at the time, Kevin and Chad were putting together, their group, and they wanted Whitlock, and Whitlock and I were tight. And Whitlock said, "Well, okay, I'll come, but you got to bring my buddy Husk." We talked about this. I said, "Jason, maybe you should go there, and I should go there." And we just go. He goes, "No, man, no, you got to come with me." And we sat. I was on a conference call. Kevin Kietzman, Chad, Duke Fry, and me. I think Whitlock was on there. If he could figure out it, he worked his phone. And I said, "I want to hear from you guys that you guys really." Let's be honest. I was not well liked. I mean, I'm writing this media column. I'm ripping these guys weekly in the Kansas City Star, having fun with it. I was stunned. This is honest, guys. I was stunned at how thin-skinned most of the media was. I'm having fun. I am a fun-loving guy. I'm being sarcastic a lot of times. I'm poking at them. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, I do hit hard when I think we've been wrong, but most of it was kind of lighthearted. About 99.8% of the people did not think it was funny if they were being poked at, and that just made me poke a little harder because But anyway, so. Yeah, I went to work with 1510 because they all said, yeah, we want you. They lied. And, I lasted a whole 6 weeks. 2 of them suspended.
Did they bring you in on purpose just so they could suspend you and fire you? Maybe I'm kidding.
So. Again, there was no love lost there. No one's wanting me to do well. I mean, geez, I'm on a daylight station, and I got the 6 o'clock shift.
Right, that's right.
So.
Right.
And they were,
fading.
and I would have loved to stay at the Kansas City Star, but the Star didn't really want me either. I had a meeting with Den Man because I had this offer. I had 2 offers on the table, and they were both for about $37.5. Right? This is 97, 99, 99. And I'm like, okay. And the Star was not paying me that. I was, scratching out living, writing, and doing Star stuff on the side, etc. So I had a meeting with Den Man, and I said, "Hey, Den, Den's a sports editor." And we sit down, and I'm thinking, I'm going to stay at the Star. And if I can get these guys to match, I want to stay at the Kansas City Star. We sit down, we go into a conference room. I make my plea. I said, "Den, this is what they're offering me. If you can match that, I'd rather stay at the Star." He goes, "Greg, there are a lot of people here at Kansas City Star like to see you leave."
They were just tired of getting the phone calls.
My negotiating nugget was ripped from
Wow. They were just tired of getting the phone calls.
Yeah, and Den was great. I'm not blaming Den, What I was doing was really unprecedented.
Right.
And they, and again, a lot of people at Kansas City Star, they saw my column as a promotion for other media outlets. And it's like, why are we promoting these other media outlets with this guy's column? And the fact that people were reading it didn't bother. They didn't care. And the Star had an issue at that time because they thought they were GM or Microsoft or what. They were never freaking crumbling, man. And as we all know, it happened. But again, so I took the radio gig, and I tried to make the show interesting, something somebody would want to turn into. Listen to Cracklin 1510, and I pushed the envelope and. Did it with St. John. And I thought St. John was a great talent.
Yeah, now let's do this. Let's give a little credit to you because you probably won't take the credit, but you actually brought St. John on board your show. Am I right?
Well, he was going to do the Monday wrestling show.
Okay.
Because I didn't know jack about wrestling, but every Monday we're supposed to do a wrestling show, and he was the wrestling guy. He started out as MU Rock. He was the guy that called the radio station, and this is going way back, guys. Yeah, he would sit down there at... Gateway Computers, and he was supposed to be selling gateways, but he hates selling stuff. He would sit there and call in the Kietzman show like with 6 different voices and get on the show. And so I meet Steven down there, and he hates me. I mean, first day, he just can't stand me. And I'm like, dude, what's your problem? Well, he was supposed to get the show. He was supposed to get that evening show, and Chad turns around and gives it to me to get Whitlock. I mean, let's be honest. They didn't want me. And I'm like, oh, man, hey, sorry about that, So we go on and do this wrestling show. Well, this sumbitch is funny. I mean, he's good. He's funny and light. And I'm like, so I keep bringing him on. So I talked to Chad, and Chad said, we got no more money. We can't hire this guy. And I just sat down with Steve and I said, dude, if you can do the show, just come on and do the show for free because get your foot in the door here, man. I mean, you're good, you're funny, and this will work. And we got in trouble, I got in trouble, and I just said, Steven, you look out for your family, I'll be fine. I'll figure something out. And that's when they got, when we were really getting suspended and the Grigsby deal and all that stuff. And Steven was great, and I'm so proud of him. I mean, he's just done a great job. The guy's been, and I don't always see eye to eye with Steven. I'll rip. He comes on here last week and going like, and what was that Nate Bukaty thing with the waving the paper? How stupid is? How little was that? That's still a big deal to me. I'm sorry, but if you're in the public eye and you're a journalist, you go out and bully or make fun of or goad a local college athlete like that, that's not shaking a paper at a kid's face. That's so unprofessional and just so outside the lines of anything that I think should be done. Now, yeah, I made a big deal of it. Keithman made a big deal of it. Now, Keithman went the extra level to drag the guy around on his own station, naked and yell shame at him.
Right,
shame. Don't do that to the guy. I can't believe he's going to have to go home and apologize to his kids. I mean, that's Keithman. I'm like, are you kidding me?
See?
Yeah. Nate Bukaty is smoking one big stogie over this baby.
Right. Very true. Anyway, what do you think? How do you feel about people that are
How
online
long is
right
this show?
As long as you want to talk.
make it.
Let me say this, folks. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Landmark Live, a production of the Platte County Landmark. We've got Greg Hall, longtime Kansas City sports media critic. I'm Ivan Foley. This is Brad Carl. We are with the Platte County Landmark. Greg used to write for us back before he quit. In fact, he came back.
Get fired.
He came back. He wrote one story like year before last, and it won the first place award in the Missouri Press Association, best sports story of the year. How about that one story?
Hey man, you know what? I'm proud of that. I got the little plaque in my office at home, and I am so thankful that you even thought enough of it to enter it. But
immediately when I read that, I'm like, that puppy's going to the contest, and it won first place.
How pissed are these other sports writers throughout the
They wrote their asses off.
Oh,
we don't have a biology major.
You show up. Right,
who the hell is this guy?
Right.
No, I'm not gonna back down. I'm really happy to have that award. I think that's cool, and I appreciate. I'm glad it ran a Landmark.
Yeah, great. We're happy to have it. Now let's get you. You had a point.
I just want to ask you what Greg thinks about people online that are saying that it's bad for people to be celebrating somebody getting fired and losing their job.
And this is the next thing that happens. Okay, so no matter who you are, if you lose your job and how you lose your job, you then start to become the victim.
Right.
And that's where we're at now with Kevin. Hey, you know what? Don't pound. And I understand that. It doesn't take away from what this guy did. I agree. And people say, oh, what are you guys doing talking about? Come on, the guy's lost his job. It's over. You're here doing this. Well, no one else is doing it, so I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing it. And believe me, again, if this was an athlete, my gosh, we'd be dragging this around for the next 3 months. Right. Kevin made his bed.
Yes, I would call it karma. I mean, that was the first words that came out of my mouth when I was texting. He told me about it. I texted my buddy, and karma was the first word out of my mouth because that's kind of what it is when you've been bringing up some of the things that he said, like the Bukaty thing and everything else, and you just start thinking about all the stuff that you've heard him do and say, and you're like, man, you're such a jerk sometimes, and like you said, you're sure it's not the first time he's been warned. I mean,
sure. I have, I've heard that his ownership group has brought him in and said, hey, guy, you need to back off here, or we have some issues here. And that's one of the reasons I think that this decision was made by them rather than maybe outside sources or sponsors or those kind of things. Right. I don't know. Hey, Kevin, he's going to go on. He's going to be fine. He's got his golf. He's made plenty of money.
If he's invested well, he should be okay.
Yes, exactly. Do you have any sponsors that can help him on that?
Well, I don't know.
Rumor has that he owns some of Cerner too. Is that right? I heard something. I saw something online where it said that
Keithman owns some of Cerner.
That he has some shares in Cerner. I don't know if that's true or not.
So why? Probably.
I was going to say, I think he's actually Kamler's doss then, right? Isn't that make him Kamler's boss?
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically, we're all Kamler's boss.
That's true. That's true.
Greg, so seriously, what do you see in the future for Kietzman? If he goes to another market, first of all, you know him a little bit. Do you think he would pursue a radio gig in another market, or
No,
is Kansas City his?
absolutely not. They had no interest. Again, this is my opinion, but he has no interest in leaving the market. I do think it's going to be difficult for him to live in Kansas City somewhat for a while. I think he would love to move to Phoenix or Scottsdale area. I'm not sure he can afford that now. You know, he's 52, 53, somewhere in there. And to live down there and just play golf the rest of your life, I mean, you know, he may live another 60 years, or 60, not 60.
30 or 40.
Yeah, 30 or 40,
Yeah.
and that's a long time. And
Yeah.
again, if he has invested wisely, and I'm sure he probably has some money put away, but these were his best earning years. The reason I'm working, I'm making more money now than I have ever made, you know, as probably we all are, because this is the time you start to make your money, you know, in that last 10, 15-year stretch there. People say, hey, you think about retirement? I'm like, they pay me pretty good for doing what I do, and I'm pretty good at it, and not that hard, you know. I'm going to do it. So I'm sure Kevin, while he will kind of go, man, I'm kind of glad that's over a little bit. There'll be some of that. I don't know what he does. Again, his name is so tinged now nationally, not just in Kansas City. He's not a radio guy. No one. I mean, I can't imagine him going on the radio for anybody. Or you know, did you want him for a PR person? He's not a PR guy now. He's the guy who said Andy Reid was a bad leader because his kid is dead. You know, I mean, he's a poor disciplinarian, and he's going to be that guy until Kietzman dies. I mean, that's just going to go with you. That's what happens when you say something like that. Especially now. 20 years ago, maybe not so much. Now, you know, and all these guys are pissed at Twitter. That's another thing that gets I get on. It's like, oh man, do I hate Twitter? I was saying, John, I just hate Twitter now. You know, why? Because you got a mic and Brad Garl has Twitter,
Right,
know?
exactly.
Or Ivan Foley has Twitter,
Right.
or Joe Schmo, or you know, whoever. This guy has a voice.
Well,
Yeah. Why can't we have a voice? You know, we should have a voice. And you can always turn it off. You don't have to listen to us. You don't have to look at Twitter.
Right.
But people want to speak now. Sports Talk Radio used to take calls. They refuse to take calls now. Oh,
Yeah.
well, let's see if we take a call. Oh, God, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
No, we're not taking another. That's why we don't take calls, because
Right.
everybody in our audience is an absolute idiot. So we can't take calls. And everybody on Twitter's an idiot. No. You guys that have a microphone, you want it all to yourself. I love social media. Yeah, it can be rough. Yes, people will shoot at you. Yes, they'll knock you and these kind of things. They should leave your family alone. Those kind of things you should stay away from. But guess what? You make your money in the public eye, it happens. Hell, you're an editor of a newspaper.
You don't.
And you're not the most loved guy.
No, I do not engage the trolls. That's just the only way to deal with
They
it.
happen. They're there. They have their say. You got to be bigger than that. And so, that's another thing that just drives me nuts. Is these again, the media just thinks they're. I just want to say, St. John, dude, you're MU Rock, man. You were making calls.
Right.
That's who you were. So you're dissing the next MU Rock because you're not him anymore. Nah, it doesn't fly like that. I love the fact that the public does have a voice. Again, it's a voice. Sometimes it is
Right.
hideous. So, but look what Kietzman did. 22 years on the radio. 35 years in broadcasting. He made a mistake that nobody should make. No rookie should make. No J school intern should make. To go on the radio and do that. So, no, I love social media. Love Twitter. Love the fact we're broadcasting from a freaking iPhone.
Yes, we
to
are.
Everybody that wants to watch it. How about that?
Well, you just ruined it. Everybody thought we were a big budget operation. Now they know we're just using my damn iPhone.
Yeah, it looks good. Got a big old microphone on it. Looks professional.
That does look professional.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helping any, but it makes us feel like it's helping.
I should take a picture. Thanks to
Let
Bill
me
Mine.
brag about the size of my microphone on tonight's show. Guys, you're watching Landmark Live. It's a production of the Platte County Landmark newspaper. Brad Carl is my co-host. He's over here taking pictures of our new microphone.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
how we're getting through the rest of this show. Greg, what's in your future, my friend? You're still in the computer biz, right? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I work for a software development company. We're in healthcare, not Cerner. We have a different niche of the pie, but I've been there almost 20 years, and it was interesting. When I got whacked at 15:10, that was a tough drive home. And again, getting fired is tough, you know, but people get fired all the time. You know what happens? What do? You grab yourself by the bootstrap and say, hey, man, what's next? I don't think I've ever made my wife happier than the day I came home and said that I was no longer in radio.
That's good.
She didn't care that I'd lost all income or any of that stuff. She was like, good. But I'm going to be 65 this year, and I'm going to work till I'm 70 at least, I think. You know, I'm healthy. I feel good. I enjoy what I do. Work with some great people. I work with technology, and technology is so fascinating to me. It is just, doing this again. We're live. And I was kind of early on when I was blogging and, doing those kind of things. And, the reason we hooked up, I'm writing this internet blog, and I've got a dial-up modem in my upstairs bedroom, and I'm like, who the hell's reading this stuff? And I get an email from this guy in Ivan Foley, and he goes, hey, man, keep going. I love this stuff.
Yeah, I did. I said, hey, if you ever want to write, come to the Landmark. And by God, it worked out.
It did. It's been a long time. Be a great relationship. That was 99. That's 20 years, Ivan.
Yeah.
That's long, lot of hair ago.
A lot of hair.
Tell me about it. That's
Well,
great.
Brad, you got anything to touch on?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. Okay. The only word I wanted to make sure I mentioned was karma, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting for A10. I mean, what their future is and how they handle this and what they do with their lineup. Do they break up their shows because they're so entrenched? Right. And it could be a positive because, again, AM radio's gotten stale, man. Those guys, I'm not saying they're mailing it in, but when Soren Petro's done a show for 15 years and St. John has done his for 15, 18 years, whatever. It does get a little stale. It gets real comfortable. Now, some of those losses of people over there, I'm sure those guys are aware, hey, man, the revenue isn't what it used to be. This used to be a cash cow. So maybe it does shake them up. Maybe it does improve their format or force them. Okay, from 2 to 6 now, we're not going to get the cookie diet. We're not going to get the barbecue set.
Racing guys.
Yeah, we're not going to get the Jack Harry. I hope we don't get Jack Harry anymore. I mean, my God. Jack Harry should be glad that Kietzman got fired. No one got drug around, beat up, and
it was like elder abuse.
It was perfect. My God, Jack Harry come on there just get
It's like,
one kick for an hour.
I wondered.
And
Jack,
not even realize.
I don't think he realized he was
it's
getting
a
his ass
Jack.
True. Very true.
Yeah, he's sad that Kietzman he should not be.
No.
So how they fill that time slot again? Is it the start? Do they build from this and get better and more important in the media market, or does this shrink them and they go away? Because there are no other options. I mean,
see, I've heard one theory that A10 is looking to sell. Obviously, this is just scuttlebutt. Don't know if there's anything to it. Your thoughts on if that's a possibility?
Yeah, I absolutely. I think they'd love to sell, but I don't know what they could get for the station. Right. And your ownership group's sitting there. You just lost your cash cow, and hey. Love them, hate them, whatever. Kietzman was their cash cow. That 2 to 6 time slot, that's where the money's at. That drive time is what sells dollars. Yes, that morning's important, but it's nowhere near as important where Kietzman did. And Kietzman did a great job for them making money. There was a reason he had an ego because everybody's,
exactly.
They said, hey, man, you're doing the job.
Well,
now,
he had reason to have an ego. Let's not say he didn't. The guy was good at what he did, and as an interviewer, he was top notch. Because he listened to the person he was interviewing. It was a conversation, and he would just pick up on an opening and he'd grasp it. He didn't have questions written out. Okay, here's going to be my scripted questions. He actually listened to what the guy was saying, and man, if he got an opening, he would drill him.
What a lost art in interviewing.
It really
listening
is.
And then asking the question, responding to what the person said. Everybody loves Howard Stern's interviews. They say, "Oh my God, Howard, you're so good. Your interviews are so great." Howard Stern, in my opinion, is a shitty interviewer. He is always jumping in and cutting off the interviewer or the interviewee and not letting him expand on his thought. Now, he's got an hour and a half to talk to Ringo Starr. Hey, that's pretty riveting radio, We don't usually get that. I mentioned Ringo Starr interview because Ringo Starr was the one guy who just tells Howard, hey, I'm talking to you.
Don't cut me off.
Slightly different accent.
Let me finish my thought. But play this entire segment back and see how many times we misspeak. Kevin Kietzman was unbelievable at never misspeaking. I was so impressed with it. He could speak, and there were no Listen to the morning show. Oh my gosh.
all time.
You listen to Nate Bukaty. Nate Bukaty can't get through 3 sentences.
It's annoying.
Seren, the same thing. I know people love Seren. It's a pretty stat-filled show for me. As far as entertainment, I want to be entertained. I'm not sure Seren has watched Animal House. Again,
right.
If John Belushi has batting average, he knows.
He knows that. Right.
But again, it's really, really difficult to do that. And Kevin was a master at it. He was absolutely top.
And when he first got into the radio deal, he was like the weekend guy at Channel 4, right? He was just like
he was hitting third in that.
He was like third team.
You had Bull. You had
was Gordon Dockey or was Al Wallace then? Was that
Al Wallace? I think Al Wallace, and then I think Gordon was gone by then.
Okay.
And then Kevin. So Kevin's hitting third over there doing the cleanup work, and Chad called him and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And found he was really good. He was really good on the radio. And hey, he was. I never missed his show back then. My gosh, it was fun to listen to. A lot of dynasties have fallen.
Right.
And the longer you're on top, the longer you're in the media's eye. Sometimes you just should fade away, and I'm sure, we know some of those people out there that, you see. Would you ever believe that Joe Paterno would be thought of like he's thought of?
Yeah.
That, Bill Cosby? No, Bill Cosby's America's father. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but we're all human. We all frailties. And sometimes when you're in the public eye and you're there a lot, stuff seeps out, That's why I only do Landmark Live about once every 6 months.
we got to make you a more frequent visitor.
We do.
Yeah.
I want to throw one more thing out real quick. I know this is never going to happen. We talked about this briefly. In theory, I'd like to throw Jay Binkley's hat in the ring to take Kevin Kietzman's spot at 810. I know it's never going to happen. He might even still be under contract. I don't really know. But what would be really cool about it is he's the anti-Kevin Kietzman. Like, he would never say he's never said a bad word about anybody in his entire life. He could go on to do that show. You never have to worry about him saying something bad
That's
about
a good segue. I mean, what do you guys think they should do with it? Now, I love Binkley. I love his football knowledge. He's just, again, I don't want somebody to come on here and never say a bad thing.
Yeah, I know.
I want
right.
somebody that I can quote and put in my column.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not saying that Binkley can't do that, but that segment needs somebody that's going to push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, you're
Kietzman
right.
was perfect for it. I like Binkley. I think Binkley's a nice co-host. They've got, what's his name now? Brad
Porter.
Brad Porter, doing. And Brad's a nice fill-in guy, kind of a staid guy, but he's a safe guy, He's way too safe. And then the guy who hadn't watched Animal House,
whatever his name is.
Again, it's almost like they're saying, we want you guys to really miss Kevin.
True.
I don't know. I'm sure there's no shortage of applicants for that job. If you're a journalist, a grad, a broadcast grad, there's not a lot of jobs. And hey, man, that 2 to 6 slot's open. Now, if you bring somebody in new into this market and put them in the 2 to 6 slot where you've got Petro and St. John sitting there going, okay, this is the guy. No, I think you offer it to them. It'll be really interesting to me to see if they take. If those guys say, you know what, I want to upset my family life and do that. Again, 2 to 6 isn't terrible, but a lot of stuff happens with the kids in that time frame. When you do the show from 6 to 10, kids are just getting ready going to school. And you're home. Now, that's not the job. Those guys work their rears off. Let's be honest. If you think they're working a 4-hour day, you're crazy. Bukaty, nobody works more hours and harder than that guy. He's got like 17 jobs. I don't know if he's ever home. That's tough, man. That is tough work. So, yeah, it's difficult. It will be interesting to see how they feel that. But I think they got to wrap up. I think they got to ramp up here and get somebody in that spot because your audience is real fickle. Man, they are not hanging around. And this interest in who's going to replace Kevin Kietzman is going to last about that long. We're doing this show on Monday night because we figured Tuesday night ain't nobody going to care.
Right.
It's just how it rolls.
Right. It's very true. Makes sense. Yeah.
Everybody's got a short attention span, but hey, this has been a long show, and deservedly so. Right? Deservedly so. We've killed about 45, 50 minutes talking about this. Hey, everybody, Platte County Landmark is where you want to go. 816-858-0363. We'll get you all kinds of coverage, editorials, all kinds of good stuff. We've got Chris Kamler every week in the Landmark. We've
I'm
got-
really upset Chris wasn't here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
too
too
bad.
bad.
That would have been fun, and we just didn't have enough booze in studio.
Chris, hope your son's better. Hope
Yes.
everything goes well. I did see that video.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
Teach that kid how to cross home plate, please.
I really wanted to make a comment about the catcher, but I thought I didn't want to like go there. It's like, what's the catcher throwing the ball at? You know, I mean, I know he was thinking, I know what he was doing, but it's like the plate's over here, and never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So now I said it on fake TV. So,
All right, everybody.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon with another Landmark Live. Until then, thank you, Greg Hall, for coming on. Good to see you.
I've enjoyed it.
Hey,
Thank
Brad.
you, Greg.
Hey, Brad.
All right, Brad. We'll see you soon too.
No, if you're lucky.
Okay. All right. Until next time, guys. Thank you.